mean, I just kind of looked at kicking as kicking.
Right.
I didn't grow up wanting to be a kicker. I didn't even want to play football growing up. Tryout came freshman year, and I legitimately got laughed at because you're all in your, your color coordinated outfits or whatever, and you have to stand up, say your name and the position you want to play. And I stand up, say my name, tell him I want to be a kicker, and the guy goes, "So that's it?" And the whole room just started busting out laughing, and.
Fuck that guy.
Well, I mean, he was.
If he's listening to this, he's eating his words.
Yeah.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Christian Kuntz Podcast. I'm here with my boys Vinny and Trey.
What up?
We got the normal crew. Happy New Year. We got Jesse behind the boards. Uncle Swing with the camera moving around. I just gave him that name, Uncle. I like that. You look like an uncle.
Sounds crazy. Sounds wild.
We're joined by a very special guest today. One might call him a wizard. No. Chris Boswell. No. Give it up, Boss. Boss, how you feeling today?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
Week 18. We remember we were in training camp. You know, we get in training camp and it's camp. You're in camp, so you're like, damn, we're really doing this again. And you just get the weeks and you figure out how many weeks you got till the end. You obviously don't count down, but you got 18 plus the preseason.
Oh, you know.
But that shit goes fast.
Yeah.
This season, dude, we were just in Latrobe playing golf a couple weeks ago.
We'll be there in a couple more weeks.
Yeah, it'll seem like a couple weeks. I wanna start this off by, crediting your season so far and congratulating you because it's been a hell of a season. But you've had your ups and downs in your career, and I want to hit this home because this is a topic that I want to talk about. When you went through your down year, and I feel like people might be scared to ask you about your down year, but like you're openly talk about it. When you went through your down year, like what did it mean for the Steelers to stand by you and obviously they brought in competition, but to stand by you through that, and then for you mentally to get through all that after you did have a shitty year. Like how was that mentally, and then knowing that they stuck by you, you got through that, and now you've signed a contract after that and everything else.
Yeah, it's a huge props to Rooney and Tomlin and Kevin Colbert at the time because in this business you're in and out quick, especially at the kicker position. I think when I went through my year, obviously it was one of the most down moments of my life. You know, when you're in it, you can't get out of it. Everything is just magnified. And that's kind of when I learned a lot more about myself, as in, I'll tell you right now, I called my agent 3 or 4 times that year wanting to quit, wanting to be done, wanting to just get out of it. It's a nightmare. You can't see any lights or anything.
Tell the, I don't mean to interrupt you, but sorry, I'm just pumped about this. Tell the story about, you're going through that year and our practice situations, like Mike Teese, we had field goal today. He's standing there watching you. He's watching him from like right here to here kick, and he's just chirping at him, talking to him, talk about that year, and like tell these guys what was being said to you when you were kicking during the period. Like you missed a kick.
Just for some context, and maybe this is just me from the outside, I don't even remember you ever having a bad year. So like, what year are we talking about?
Well, I appreciate that.
I'm not even just trying. I'm
it
like,
was
honestly,
2018.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was 6 years ago. And yeah, Mike T's behind me chirping, telling jokes, trying to get me out of a rhythm. He, chirps Christian, Corliss, whoever's, holding. It's actually a fun environment because if you can kick in front of our group that we have just standing behind us chirping,
watching,
you can kick in any scenario in the game.
It's true.
Before I got here, the kicker who I ended up replacing, he wanted 4 field goals in a day. No one could talk. No one could be around him. He asked Danny and Mike T to tell the offensive line to quit talking to him a couple times.
Whoa.
So it's a different setting. And when I first came in here, James Harrison, my first practice, I signed on a Friday or Saturday. I got to go home for the weekend and come back. And Debo, my very first practice, stood over the holder. So the holder's waiting to get the snap, standing over his shoulder, and it's just, I dare you to miss this kick. I dare you to miss it. you miss this kick, you're washing my back in the shower. Yeah. And so, I mean, that just the whole time. And, even after I, obviously had a decent season that year, but team meeting room, when I used to go, I would sit here and Debo would sit here and he would just stare at me. Mike Tomlin's
Up there. Yeah.
giving his team presentation, and he's just staring at me like this the entire team meeting. Just intimidating.
That's terrifying.
Intimidating as hell.
Why in the team meeting? Like,
Dude.
literally just to, was there such an issue that they were like, dude, Debo, when we get this new guy in here, you got to either break him or
They set them
Well,
in for
I was
build
the
him, it's
fourth
security.
kicker in those 2 months.
wow.
So Swisham had his injury in the Hall of Fame game from the surface or whatever, and then Garrett Hartley came in, tore his quad or groin or something, and then
Randy. Or no?
who was that? Scobie.
Josh
Scobie came in those 4 games. He struggled, and so after that, I'm sure everybody was tired of kickers coming in and out. I mean, they had Swisham for however long before that, and then before him was Jeff Reed for 15 years, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just a revolving door at that point. So he's probably tired of kickers coming in and out of the building, and probably had a bad rap on us at that time.
I had multiple people ask me about, I guess, something in San Francisco happened in one of their games where Debo yelled at the kicker and something happened when he missed the kick. I don't really know the finer details of it, but people ask me, like, what if someone would yell at you like that after you miss a kick? And, I literally responded, I said he would tell them that they're right. Like, if you yelled at him and be like, make the kick, he'd be like, yeah, no shit. That's what he would literally say that. Like, he wouldn't try to fight back against it. He'd be like, yeah, you're fucking right. Like, no shit, make the kick. But what was, like, when you're missing kicks and struggling on it, I hate to talk about missing kicks, but it's just a testament to the mentality and, like, moving on to the next play, essentially. But how was the locker room towards you, like, when you were missing kick? Could you feel, like, people shifting in a certain way or, like, moving differently around you, like, kind of shunning you in a way in 2018 as opposed to, like, this year where, shit, you're banging them?
I don't know if it's people were moving away from me or if I was so down on myself to like I felt like people were moving away from me.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
So it's like, you're not playing well, you're not doing good. If you two are over there talking, I think you're talking about me. Type, you know
right.
what
I get what you're saying.
So it's like, I wouldn't say people moved away from me, but I would say I definitely went into a shell. And just kind of lights were on, but no one's home type thing, and just tried to survive the end of the season and then try again the following year. That was my entire mindset.
So I also I wanted to ask about this since we're on this topic. I think the most current example of this is Justin Tucker currently, and I'm sure you would pay your respects to him and calling him one of the best, and you're up there as well with that. So, like, did you get any insight of that? Because I think, unless I'm incorrect on the terminology, but people call it like the yips whenever you have this like psychological block where you're an elite athlete, right? But in baseball, golf, kickers, in football, there's just this psychological thing where, whatever it is that the block is, that you're unable to you don't know what was Justin Tucker's issue. Like, he's been kicking excellent for how many years, and then all of a sudden this year it's like he's just a little left, he's a little right, a little short, and I was telling the guys an example of it was in baseball. We had a guy that Pedro Alvarez, he had one bad throw from third to first, and then I don't know if he ever made another completed throw from third to first again, and it's all psychological. So did you get any insight in your time?
I don't know if I got any insight.
Or do you know what that is, like what you would call that? Like, what's that feel like?
I mean, it feels terrible.
Yeah. Do you feel like a block? Like,
it's not a block. I mean, Tucker's one of the best to ever kick.
Absolutely.
I mean, a couple of these go in, and we're not even talking about this right now. So, I mean, kicks go in, kicks go out. I wouldn't necessarily call it the yips. It's just an ups and downs of a career.
Right.
I mean, he's missed 7 or 8, and there's years where he's missed 5 or 6, and he's still one of the best in the season. He just doesn't have the attempts to go along with it.
Right. Okay.
I mean,
what I found out too, and I didn't know shit about kickers, punters, long snap specialists before I became a specialist, but like if these dudes are hurt in any single way, like if a kicker's hammy's tight the slightest bit, like I'm playing with that, or a normal guy might be playing through that. Like a kicker is feeling every bit of an injury, and like you could tell when a guy's he could tell if a guy's swinging different. Like you could put on the film and just be like, oh, he's swinging. It almost looks like his groin's hurting. So what I've like learned is guys that are struggling, like there might be an underlying issue that none of us know about when the kicker, and like he might just be gutting it out. Little do we know he's swinging 60% because his groin's hurting like hell because these guys have been kicking since July.
Right.
Also, like the field surface, like he could be putting his plant leg on a shitty field and there's seams in a field and his foot goes down, his foot's turned the other way. Like you could look through I could look through my legs and see his plant foot. Like if you're on a shitty surface, his plant foot's moving, then he's chasing a ball trying to kick it.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of moving parts that go into a field goal, like other than just a snap, hold, oh, it's down, he could kick it. Like
Absolutely.
that dude could slip, the wind, like every single aspect of it, people don't even get.
Yeah, and I feel like it's also one of those positions where like the more you think about it, you know, and that's kind of I guess what I'm trying to get at is like the more you're thinking about it. So if you do have a miss and you're like kind of living in that space, I know you have to like wipe it clean after every play, and I from what I've heard, like you're good at just moving on to the next play. But you know, the idea of just thinking about it a little bit too much, like maybe that's where that block comes from. But I don't know. I'm just curious about that because it's like the psychology of sports.
Yeah, you can definitely put yourself in a slump,
right?
Without even
and that's
realizing you're in one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, all the Tucker's misses are over 50. It's not like he's just
that's another thing too.
He
Right,
didn't
right.
forget how to kick.
No, yeah.
He's been kicking for 13 years, and he's finally missed 7 in a year, and now he's got the yips.
Right.
So I mean,
I wish he would
he'll
come on here
bounce.
and just be like genuinely believe, like, dude, I think he just forgot how to kick. Like, and we just tried to break that news. Like, let's just, Justin Tucker forgets how to kick.
It's not possible.
No,
I think that's what
he
it is.
didn't forget.
There's nobody out on the street week 17 that you're bringing in to take his spot.
No.
Nobody.
Yeah,
no
right.
shot.
The people that were saying they should replace him,
Is
like,
crazy.
they're about to go.
Replacing with who?
Yeah, they're about to go in the playoffs. Like you're sticking with your your all pro kicker.
So in that situation, right? Like, when did you feel the turnaround for yourself? Because I feel like when you're
that's
going
a good
through
question.
that moment, right? Like, we've all played football for a very long time. You have, like you said, really good years and really bad years, right? But like, we all know that moment where we're either like, F it, right? We're just gonna figure it out, or B, when we're just like, okay, I gotta go see somebody, or I need a little bit of help here. So when for you was it like, okay, I'm back in the game, I'm good?
Honestly, it probably wasn't until that next season. I ended up getting hurt towards the end of that year and missing the last game or two. And it's more about just like self-confidence more than
Right.
anything, especially kicking, golfing. Like you walk into a golf shot not knowing where the ball's going to go. You don't know where the ball's going to go.
Right.
So it's just seeing some go in, and the next thing you know, you've got 4 or 5 in a
I get
row,
you.
10 in a row, and then it just becomes like robotic, and you forget that you even went through it.
Yep.
Even for me, I can't talk to anybody about it.
Right.
I mean, the less I think about even kicking is better for me.
I like that.
The how do I say this? The more I'm not around football, the better I am.
Right.
Type. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Yeah,
though.
it's- no, for
I
sure.
treat
It's
myself
true.
like a pitcher now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
sense, like I'm on a kick count every day, every week. I don't bombard myself with just the long days or whatever. Like I show up, work out, get my stuff in, kick, and then
Right.
I'm just out.
That's
I-
crazy.
I do think you kick more than what I've learned, like from hearing from Cam and people that have been in different spots. Like, I think you kick a lot more than normal guys.
Which is crazy because everyone on the team
Thinks-
thinks I don't do anything.
No.
Yeah.
No, you
Tell
kick,
him.
you kick a lot more than a lot of, like probably 95% of specialist kickers in the league. You're kicking more than, like we had 10 field goals today. Plus you hit, how many we hit in the indoor?
Yeah.
It's 15.
We kicked a
I
good
mean,
bit today, and I kicked the last 2 because we came off that long bye week type
Man.
situation we were
You
in.
pay him to say that?
No,
No, he didn't pay. He does.
no,
He
but I
did-
mean, I got plenty of friends that'll hit 3 or 4 field goals a week with the team, and then
Yeah.
that's it.
That's
That's
it.
just all that they've ever
Yeah.
done.
So, like, how do you deal with? Because I was trying to talk to somebody about this. You guys played an extreme amount of games in like a very limited amount of time, right? So, like, how are you taking care of your body in this situation? Because I was trying to tell my friends, I'm like, listen, you can be as mad as you want to be at the guys, but like, I don't know any person who's ready to play a game with 2 to 3 days worth of work, right? It's just not possible, right? Like, not in my eyes. So, like, how are you?
To, like TJ and all them smashing heads every single time, running,
crazy.
getting tackle. I mean, we have I mean, you do some contact. It's
fair.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's a lot easier for us to be like, oh no, I was fine for those 3 games in 10 days, but I don't know how any of like the middle linebackers feel. Just
Yeah, bro, I'm
thudding
dead.
heads 150 times a game.
You're probably kicking less when you play more, right? Like, I mean, you probably take more kicks at practice.
No,
We take the same amount of kicks at practice. We just have a couple days less of practice.
Gotcha.
What's tough for, I feel like, us is what people don't understand is we're out at, and we talked about this last week in the facility. We're out at 11:30 for a 1 o'clock game. We're out at 11:30.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like from 11:30, and like I start my warm up in there at 11, rolling out, doing like a mobility workout in there. So like we're working out essentially, kicking, snapping, punting from 11 a.m. to 4 when the game ends.
Man.
So that's a 6-hour workout. Like your hips are tight. He's tight. His legs swinging. Like you're in the net. So game days are like, it takes, like those preseason games are very helpful because like, dude, they're getting in game shape for a specialist is a real thing. Like come the fourth quarter in August in a preseason game, we're like looking at each other like, fuck. We're like, dude, I'm gassed. Like we've been out here for 5 hours.
That's crazy.
But it's just different positions. So, but the 3 games in 11 days, it's unfair.
How
It's
do you
unfair.
watch film? Like, how do you get a good like look?
You
You know what I'm
just-
saying? Because I watch film a lot, and it's just like I can't get a full gauge of the other team within 2 days. It's
Dude,
like not possible.
It's
Not in my
impossible.
eyes.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, I don't watch film.
Yeah, I mean, we probably, he doesn't watch film, but I watch a little bit, on their punt rush team. I don't really punt rush field goal team if they like to rush in the A gap, but for the position groups, dude, once you finish that game, like when we played Philly or Baltimore, whoever we played, Philly, Baltimore, Kansas City, like once Philly game was done, we went over a couple coaching points. That game was gone. We're on to Baltimore. Once Baltimore was done, that game was gone. We were on to Kansas City. Like in the NFL, if you're worried about the shit that happened in the past, you're losing the next one. You're losing the next one. And I know we're on a 3-game skid, but everyone wants to talk about that shit. But
Yeah, but look at who
we played three
like, it's
Super
crazy.
Bowl contender teams.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like,
like
look
it's
at
not
those
an easy
teams.
3.
and if a ball rolls the other way a couple times, like a couple fumbles go a different way, whatever, it's football. I wanna talk about, because I don't think very many people know this. He was a punter first. You guys know this?
I did
I had
not
no
know
idea,
this. I did not
Dude
know
was
this.
a punter growing up.
I was a punter at the same time. I wouldn't say punter first, but yeah.
He was a punter. Take us back to, going to Rice, growing up in Texas. Then you stayed in Texas, went to Rice. And I didn't know, I had to do a little homework on you. I didn't know about all these records you had at Rice.
Couldn't tell you.
Why don't you go back to Rice?
It's in the middle of Houston. I just don't.
Oh,
like
you don't go to Houston. That's
Yeah.
right.
I
That's
live in
fair.
Atlanta now. I'm from Fort Worth, so it's just not in the way of anything.
All right, so take me back to when you realized, like, damn, I'm pretty good at kicking. Like, was it in college? You redshirted your freshman year, then you had a good sophomore season, then you fucking like broke the record for single points in a season, sophomore
Something
year,
crazy like that.
something like that. Take me back to when it hit you, where you're like, damn, like I'm actually good at this. Because then I want to talk about Cairo coming in the league and how you guys weren't drafted, ended up being 2 kickers that have been in the league
Yeah.
for fucking 10 years.
I probably didn't know I was good at kicking till junior year of college. I mean, I just kind of looked at kicking as kicking.
Right.
I didn't grow up wanting to be a kicker. I didn't even want to play football growing up.
I want to play
just kinda-
baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I was a freshman in high school. I played basketball, baseball, soccer, and my dad grew up in Brazil.
Oh, wow.
So he's like, hey, you're playing every sport growing up, and then you'll decide kind of what you like and what
Love
you want
that.
to do. So, I mean, tryout came freshman year, and I legitimately got laughed at because you're all in your, your color coordinated outfits or whatever, and you have to stand up, say your name and the position you want to play. And I stand up, say my name, tell him I want to be a kicker, and the guy goes, so that's it? And the whole room just started busting out laughing. And
Fuck that guy.
well, I mean, he was.
No, I'm not,
he was a-
if
he
he's
was-
listening to this, he's eating his words.
Yeah, he was our like high school
Fuck-
baseball coach
fuck
for
that
like
guy.
20 years, and
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
just in charge of. I mean, freshman football is freshman football.
Right.
They just find anybody to do it. So then I ended up getting an offer. I played an All-American game in high school. Got one offer for kicking. It was to Rice. And then I got a gray shirt. I think they still call it.
Yeah.
Like come in halfway through the year
Okay.
as a punter, and I didn't like punting. It's just not my thing.
You had a good punt this year.
Yeah.
We got
One
one
and
punt.
done. That's
Yeah.
We actually talked about that today. Cam, obviously snapped his knee, shin, whatever he did.
Yeah.
And I'm on the sideline yelling at him, "You're still holding. I don't care what you say." He's,
Bro.
he's hobbling off the field.
They're like helping this man off the field. He's like devastated. Like he just broke his fucking leg. And Boss like, "You're still holding. You're still holding."
That's a Jesse situation.
I'm like, bro, this guy's leg is dragging behind him, and Boss is screaming, "You're still holding."
And I got my helmet in one hand,
Yeah.
a couple hats, like his hat, my hat, someone else's hat, and I'm just holding them, waiting for the punt. And they're like, "Hey, you got to punt," and I'm like,
Through that.
"All right," just threw the hats, and I was more nervous for that just to catch the snap
Yeah,
rather than just to punt the ball.
He
I
throwing
mean,
some
'cause-
heat back
It
there?
was a good snap.
No, I just didn't want to bobble it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I'm on
yeah.
the 5-yard line at that time or something. Like the one thing I couldn't do in that game was drop the
Yeah.
snap.
Yeah.
And I don't take reps at it. I don't do nothing. I just
When's the last time you did that?
college at Rice.
Wow.
I well
Crazy.
no. Yeah, so then I went to Rice. I punted and kicked. I redshirted, kicked all 4 years, but I think I punted a year, maybe 2 at Rice.
Okay.
Like in like a we don't have a punter yet or our punter
Yeah.
left type situation.
Okay.
And then I went to Houston, the Texans, as a punter kicker, and Shane Leckler was there who punted for 16 years.
Okay.
And he loved messing with me in the sense of he's like, "Hey, I'm punting today. Don't worry about it." And then punt period comes. He's like, "Hey, you're in."
Oh, dude, that's messed up.
We're in Denver for a preseason game, and he's like, "Hey, I'm taking the whole first half." I think it was the third game. And so he's like, "I'm taking the whole first half. You get the second half." So I warm up kicking all first half. He finds me on third down. And it's
Oh
like,
my
"Hey, you're in. You're punting. I'm not going today." And I'm like, "All right."
What'd you hit?
I don't remember. I
You
mean,
know.
I don't have a good punt. It's 42, 43 yards max, and that's it.
What we have in Atlanta, it was like a 45-yard net, fair catch. Or was he got tackled right away. Scotty Miller tackled
Thank
him.
God for the Gunners because that ball had no hang time.
Hey, it worked. We got out of it. That was a crazy situation because then Scotty held. He made the tackle and then held. And the holds, we talked to Scotty. Scotty was on the pod. The holds before, I don't know if you saw him.
No.
Thank God. The holds before we went out there were atrocious. They were like straight this way, away from you. I'm like, Scotty, just anything, just pull it to your nose. Like, just pull it inside, if anything, because he's going to pull kick it. He's like, all right. Next one, he caught it, put it down, and it was leaned totally forward.
That's crazy.
I'm like, oh, shit, this is not going to be
So
good.
you're just out there like, however this thing is put down, I'm just going to
Well,
find
thank
it.
God it was so close. I didn't really care. It's just
Yeah.
kind of a chip it and get it in the air situation. I mean, it was what, like a 27-yarder,
Yeah.
26-yarder?
Less, yeah. We were like the
So it's
4.
as close as possible. So, I mean, I don't need a perfect
Yeah.
hold, perfect anything. So it's just kind of.
So how have your steps changed?
Bro,
Because
he's out there vibing.
I'm
know.
gonna say, 'cause
you're
I-
just out there just.
'cause I
There's
can
no thought.
imagine,
He goes
like-
out there. There's no thought besides it going through the upright.
So when you first started,
Dead
like,
ass.
how has your steps changed from then to now, if any at all?
Has your form
Yeah,
changed?
did you
That's a
used to
great
be
question.
like really meticulous with like?
It's because
Who
I
was
mean
the
I'm
kicker
also
that used to go like this?
because when you come in the league you
wow.
don't want to mess up, so then you're kicking to not mess
Really?
up.
Right.
Yeah.
So
right.
everything's robotic, everything's too thought out, everything's like I have to do this every time, which makes me do this every time. And now I'm just like my steps could be different game to game, week to week, because like as obviously getting older, not everything's gonna feel fresh every single day.
Right.
My hip might be tired, my hamstring might be
Yeah.
sore, so I can't be as far back as I was a week ago when I was feeling good.
Surface. If it's wet, his steps.
If we're on very thin turf, I'm a lot closer to the ball because I obviously have to get more of the ball. Like our grass is a lot longer than a lot of places we play, so
Right.
I can't hit as much grass as opposed to turf. So I think I've become more aware of I don't have to kick the same way every single day.
Okay.
Like something like kind of like a golf swing. You're not going to have the same golf swing every single day. Like it
Yeah.
might not be as long one day, it might be longer another. So I think I've just been kind of like adjust on the fly and just I wouldn't say get through games, but figure out that game what works for me that day and then move on to the next week.
I got you.
I definitely kick a lot more stress free because I'm not some young kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I make a mistake, I don't care. But when I first got here, if I made a mistake, I thought like I wasn't going to be on the team the next week.
Right.
I feel like that ties into what you said with a bunch of young kickers. Like that's why it's so hard to get in as a kicker, because you come in as a rookie, free agent guy, and you're so pressed to make kicks because that's what your job is. And these kids, they're so focused on like, I just need to make this kick. I just need to make this kick. And I feel like that's where people, the young kids, they miss one kick and then it's like all downhill from there.
Right.
It's all mentality and kicker. You got to be cold as a kicker.
Yeah, I remember I wouldn't let my family tell me they were coming to visit me weeks out because I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be here in 3 weeks. So you're telling me you're coming to a game in 3 weeks? Like I got 2 more games before that.
Mm.
So I'd be like, if y'all come, book your trip, but don't tell me to the week of, and we'll see if I'm still here.
Wow.
Do you guys like as kickers, do you guys have a brotherhood? They got the tight end you and guys just kind of coming together a little bit more in the league. Do you guys have that with kickers or special teams punters? Like you reaching out to new guys, or when somebody's going through a good or bad slump, or do you guys have any relationship? Because it's you guys aren't necessarily going head to head as much as maybe an offensive and defensive lineman. So is that something that you guys have, or are you just in your own world?
No. I mean, I'm definitely cool with a bunch of people around the league. I got my buddies in the league that I talk to weekly.
Okay.
No one's ever going to reach out to another kicker when they're in a slump or missing kicks and try to coach them.
Yeah, you don't want to coach, but
but yeah, I mean, it's never me versus another kicker in any way. I mean, we all have different opportunities. We all have different stats.
Right.
Someone might have 7-game winners while another dude has 7 attempts in a year.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just I'll never wish a miss on any kicker, no matter any.
Oh, I don't imagine. Yeah.
Even if it's against us, I'm like, I mean, I hope we win, and I hope he does
well.
Right.
Yeah, I hope he makes every kick, but we take the win. So
yeah.
Talk about your relationship with other kickers. You came out with Cairo. Cairo's a kicker in Chicago. Talk about coming out of Rice and your journey, Houston to the Giants, because I feel like people think it's all glit and glamour. Like you came into Pittsburgh, you had one bad year, and then you've been here for 10 years, but people don't know the grind that you went through to get there. You went undrafted as one of the best college kickers, and then you had to go to Houston and kick and punt, then go to the Giants, get cut by the Giants, wait around for 3 people to get hurt in Pittsburgh, and then finally get your chance, and now you're 10 years in and killing it. So talk about, your relationship with Cairo, how much that helped, you both getting in, both staying in, which has been crazy, and talk about, the grind of going through that because you've been in the circuit of, working out, and it sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I was cut 4 times before I got here, 2 by the Giants and 2 by the Texans. And, me and Cairo still, I mean, we still talk about it to this day. We both got called the day before the draft, hey, 5th, 6th, 7th round comes around and y'all are still here, we're taking you. And us 2 ended up not being drafted, and 2 other guys were drafted. Cairo ended up having his chance with the Chiefs and beat out Suckup, or they just went with Cairo over, Suckup.
Wow, he was there. I forgot about that.
And then I ended up not making it with Houston. Actually, my buddy who's coming up in town this week, I actually lived in his living room.
Wow.
I had a king-size bed that I just had from my apartment, but then I got cut, so I'm not going to pay to, I don't even know where I'm going to be. So I literally put my king-size bed in their living room on the floor in front, in between these 2 couches, and that just became, the hangout spot. There's a couple buddies from, Rice who lived there, and they just, hey,
stay on the couch.
Just come crash with us.
That's cool, though.
And, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a grind. Got cut there. Was on a couple workouts that year.
What were they telling you on the workouts? Because I know I've been on a bunch of workouts, and the workouts saved me because the coaches that I went on the workouts for, Denver, New England, Green Bay, they all, every time I finished a workout, I'd be like, what do I need to work on? I don't know shit about long snapping. I'm just doing it. What do I need to work on? And they always gave me shit to work on. When you got, when you finish the workout, it sucks. They're like, hey, we're not going to take you. Sorry, buddy. Get your bags. Thanks for coming. Here's $20. What did they tell? Did they give you any feedback? Hey, you need to work on driving the ball or getting more elevation, whatever.
No. And that's the thing. For me, it was more of when I got cut by Houston, I went to the Giants because Steve Weatherford was hurt. So like they wanted to see me punt, and then while I was
Oh.
punting, they're like, "Let's check out your kicking too." And so that's kind of how that worked. And then for one of the weeks, Leckler had a sore like leg or
Yeah.
hurt leg. So like I came in, they signed me to a P squad for a week, and I just punted in practice one time. And then after the game Sunday, they just cut me the next day. So it wasn't ever like, "Hey, come work out. Let's see what you got." It was a reason why they brought me in. Like
Right.
I'm not even a punter, and I'm standing in for 2 punters at practice.
Yeah.
And I mean, so it worked out, and I ended up signing a futures deal with the New York Giants after one of those workouts, and then got a little bit of playing time in preseason, not much.
Preseason film for a specialist is like gold.
Yeah.
Like for any other position, I feel like they can practice and make a couple plays and be like, "Oh, well, okay, we see him in practice.
Right.
We might keep him on the practice squad too." But for a specialist, if you don't get film, you're not making it.
Yeah, and I was with the Giants. We were terrible, and so
Shocking.
Yeah, Josh Brown, played in the first half. He got like 4 or 5 field goals. I played second half, didn't touch the field. We had so many injuries on defense. I got cut the next morning.
Right.
So I'm at home for 2 weeks. Brown had like a bad quad and needed a week off, so I came back in for the last preseason game. Went like 4 for 4 or 5 for 5 field goals, and then got cut the next day again. But at least I got the film of
Yeah.
like having kicked.
And that's probably what allowed Pittsburgh to bring you in. Because
Yeah.
at that time, Sweezum got hurt in that first preseason game, so they brought in whoever was next. And then you had the film. And I remember, I think Danny told me, I guess Davion picked you up at the airport for your workout.
Yeah.
So I heard this story. Davion told me that they went through a kicker workout, and Danny came, and Davion, one of our trainers, picked up all the kickers from the airport. And I guess Danny asked him, "Who was the coolest? Like, who do you like, Davion? Who do you like?" And Davion said Boz, and they signed Boz. So you gotta give Davion a little
Yeah,
cut.
you would have been mad. That was a miserable workout.
What do you have you do? Whatever.
The game was Thursday against Baltimore.
Okay.
It was
Tuesday workout.
30 degrees and raining for the workout, and we're in Heinz Field at the time. And Greg Warren shows up to snap, and Jordan
Oh.
Berry showed up to hold for all of us for the entire hour. So
Greg
like on
was
your
pissed.
oh yeah,
Oh.
old Grizzly Greg had to come in.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
snap to just 3 just random kickers just to see who was going to come in next.
I would be pissed.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "You guys are having me
On
snap."
an off weekend
tripping.
too.
Bro, he was
no,
on like year 15 at this point,
Oh,
too,
yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he played a long time. They were killing that man.
maybe more.
And so, like, they played 3 games. The 4th game was a Thursday night. And after Thursday night game, you're off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Come back in Monday. Nah, he had a 9, 10 a.m. workout Saturday morning to come in there with me.
Oh,
Raining,
Dude.
miserable.
That is terrible. I'd be pissed if they
Yeah,
asked me
yeah.
to do that.
Do you guys get paid for preseason games?
No.
It's a camp check, so
Yeah.
it's just part of camp.
Okay.
So I think it's
It's a week pay.
a
Yeah.
week pay of camp, which I think is like $1,000 a week.
Because I feel like some people think like once you're on a football team, you automatically make.
Bro, you
however
gotta
much
make you gotta make that 53, and then you gotta clear that whole week. You guys might make the 53 and think they're on the 53, but then once like other dudes get dropped and they get hit the waiver wire, and you pick up other people, you might think you made the 53, and then you're not on the 53 in 3 days.
You make the 53 on
sucks.
Tuesday or Monday, you can still get cut Thursday or Friday,
It-
and you still don't get paid even though you already made the 53.
Oh,
'Cause you didn't make it to game 1 yet.
It's the shittiest part
Yeah.
about the business, dude. Like, you guys work their ass off. They make a 53. The roster picture comes out on Instagram. You're on the 53, and then your family's probably going crazy. Then 3 days later, you're cut. And that's happened this year, unfortunately, to a couple guys. It sucks.
Yeah.
That's
Like-
rough. I ain't even gonna lie. That's rough. It's rough.
And people
That's rough.
think,
Yeah, I think a lot of times fans like have this misconception. One being like, you're a football guy, so you make X. Then there's the perception of kickers. I'm sure you've heard of it a million times. Like, oh, they got the easiest job. You just come in here and kick the ball. Meanwhile, the
wrong.
game's on the. Well, I think that you have a very
As opposed
unique
to everything
perspective.
else on the field.
Yeah.
I'm not smashing anybody else on that field.
So you feel blessed in that
Oh yeah,
situation.
I'm not hitting nobody.
Yeah. Okay.
Y'all saw
okay.
my attempted slide tackle this year.
yeah, I saw it. You can't say shit to me this year. At this
Hey, that's
tackle.
half your job. It's not mine.
Yeah, yeah. One third of my
1/3.
job.
Yeah, what's he saying to you after he makes a tackle? He's on the sideline.
They're coming over. I'm telling everybody. Everybody. I'm like, that was one. That was one. It's like my only one.
You got two.
2 on the
Two
year.
halves and a solo.
Yeah, should be more.
The Lions 3. We'll see if he gets to it.
The Lions 3 that was made at the beginning of the year. I got to get one this
We
week.
need it.
And
Gotta get-
playoffs don't count, so this is the last one.
Gotta get one.
Playoffs reset.
About to have the whole city just adamantly watching you run down on punt. Just
I'm just gonna have my punt team. I'm gonna tell them just set it up.
Clear.
Don't tackle them. Let me get them. Just let 'em-
illegal, I
Just
think.
like stay there and wait.
You gotta do the Brian
Monopoly
Cushing.
money.
Do you see the Brian Cushing video where he goes, "All y'all say on the bench, I'm gonna go out there 11v1. I think I got
I
good
saw
odds."
what he said. Yeah.
That's you.
that
You gotta
you
play
at
with
Duquesne?
Cushing energy.
You see the nicks on the helmet?
Yeah, you smashed it on something.
No, I didn't. This
dropped
is
it
all
on
from
the-
hitting other people.
They just don't replace stripes.
No, we were gritty there. Look at that.
Not in the budget.
And what? No, probably not. Look at this helmet.
Hey, Rice is the same way, man.
Thanks.
Did you throw up in the helmet?
No, it was in my
Yeah.
mom's garage for quite some time. So, I mean, granted, I was in college 10 years ago. So,
It's almost like he took it off immediately after a game, put it in that garage, and never touched it again because that thing is
that's
wild.
definitely what I did.
That thing has cultures in it.
you ever show up to a workout with that thing?
I showed up to when the Steelers were bringing me up and down from the practice squad. I was still training in this helmet. Like I was snapping in pads and training in this helmet.
Oh, wow.
So I'd show up down to get my COVID test and work boots and bring my fucking helmet.
Oh, so
I
they got
love that,
COVID on
dude.
it.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Probably does.
Wow, bro.
We need to
All right.
sanitize. We need to sanitize this thing.
What came first, Rudy Gobert coughing on the mic or Christian?
My
Kuntz
helmet.
getting his helmet out of his mom's garage?
You're the reason
That
why we
was
had to
fucked
get
up
that.
when he did that. He touched all the mics.
And then got it.
Looking back on
Yeah.
it, dude, like
That's wild.
he didn't know it was gonna blow up like that. But holy shit, he was like,
Yeah. And then gives it to the
How many
star,
times did you
Donovan
guys
Mitchell.
have to go through the COVID testing during that year? Because we had to go and get like that stick up your nose at least 5 times a week, which was just wild. But I wasn't sure what you guys did over there at the
Wasn't
Steelers.
it every day?
every day. It was every day, and then if you were on like the workouts, like if you were up and down on the practice squad, like I had to get 3 tests before I was allowed back in the building.
Whoa.
Like 2020 was a crazy year because like
We-
no fans.
We played Buffalo on, what was it, a Sunday night?
Sunday
or Monday, something like that.
Sunday night in
We
Buffalo.
couldn't go to New York because they couldn't house us because of the COVID rules.
Oh my God.
So we stayed right here in downtown Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody woke up at 6 a.m., got tested in the lobby, and then you drive to the airport, get on the plane, fly there, which it's like a 40-minute flight.
Went to the hotel. I remember.
We got to the hotel by 9:30 a.m. and then just sat in the hotel till the game time at 8:30 p.m.
And then played
and then flew right back.
and got our
That's
ass. We got our
crazy.
ass kicked too.
Yeah, that was the longest day of all time.
I don't think people think about your conditions sometimes, bro. Like leading up to the game, sometimes there's some bullshit happening that like nobody gets a chance to see.
I think Buffalo, I think they gave us like just homemade sandwiches and like a bag of chips for our, because they couldn't like mass produce food.
Yeah.
Because New York's rules were stricter than everybody.
Mhm.
So like we
That's
just,
wild.
you had to figure it out.
I was in the box, warm, in Buffalo, watching, eating pizza. Me and Duck Hodges, I'll never forget it. Me and Duck were in the box just watching. Empty stadium in Buffalo. Their fans are brutal, so I'm glad it was empty. Take us to, you're the last killer bee still standing, as the Yinzers would
That
say.
is old.
That's old.
Wow.
You're old.
Yeah.
What was that like playing with, Ben, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, all
Wow.
those guys? Like you were scoring 45 points a game.
I had to be warmed up every second of the game because they could just score. Just
Man.
snap of a finger, blink of an eye. There's AB taking a slant for 80.
I'd hate
Martavis
that.
Bryant, 6'6", and just runs a 4-3 just straight down the field.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, it was crazy to watch. I mean, and I was younger at the time, and it was
Fun.
the most fun I've ever had playing.
Wow.
I mean, just with them, and then Ben just lighting it up whenever he wanted to.
People don't understand when there's a quick score, like we're not ready for that. We're like on the bench, or your helmet might be down by the net. So it's like a frantic moment when you.
Hey, when defense scores,
Oh,
I
shit.
might have both my cleats off my feet, and I'm the last one on the field
Yeah.
with 10 seconds left on the play clock.
Yes.
Because my cleats are so small and tight that I have to take them off and untie them like
Yeah.
100 times a game. So like when the defense is on the field, I'm like, all right, I have time now. When offense, we could score at any second, and next thing you know, defense gets a pick six or a fumble, and I got one cleat off behind me in a heater somewhere.
Our defense
So-
scores a lot though, dude. You
Yeah.
should probably
Well, I
be
do
more
one at a
prepared
time
because our
now.
defense is crazy.
Yeah, one will be tied, one will be off, and then I'll just keep switching it.
Yeah, I think that's like a crazy part of like even just thinking about like you said the headspace of on the sideline, you could be just like mid conversation and then it's
Yeah.
like boom,
snap.
I got to go hit this, and dude, I think one of the things that's that stuck out to me the most was you were talking about the downtime and like what got you out of that. I feel like I'm just sitting over here like I relate to that. Like I feel like even last year there were several times where I felt like I was in a really low place, and then one conversation or one person kind of like pulled me out of it. Were there people along your journey here with the Steelers that come to mind that maybe reached in and said something or did something for you in the moment that maybe you look back on, you're like, that was really pivotal looking back, but now in the time I didn't really think too much about it?
Yeah, I didn't really tell many people my mental struggles that year or anything. I mean, my agent knew every detail because, we kind of work hand in hand in this whole thing. So, huge props to, Jeff in helping me not quit. Because he's like, you can quit, you can do whatever you want. He's like, it's your career. If you want to give up, go for it. Obviously, family never turns their back on me or anything like that. Your close friends are going to be your friends, whether you make a kick or miss a kick. I couldn't point out any specific, because I don't like sharing a lot of my inner struggles. Especially going through that. Mike T's favorite saying is about your problems and no one cares and they're glad you have them.
We all got problems. No one cares, and they're glad you have them.
Yeah, so it's kind of like no one wants to hear my battles. I'm playing in the NFL and I'm struggling. A lot more people have it a lot worse than I do.
Yeah.
And so like
love
no
that
one
perspective.
cares.
Yeah.
So I kind of just don't bombard anybody with it. Just kind of figure it out.
Well, that takes your own personal mental toughness. A lot of people can't handle that,
That's a
right?
fact.
They just
Yeah.
dump it on other people and they think their problems go away.
Right.
So I feel like that's the reason why you've had this career, right? Is because you've had that mental structure to be able to process what you need to process, not just throw it up on someone else and hope that they got all the answers to fix it. So kudos to you, I guess is my point here is, that's to me, it's not about as a kicker anything more than just being mentally tough. And so,
Facts.
I don't know what got you there in your life, what adversity you've had to go through, but I know you're a dad now and, from another dad, I know that that's probably prepared you to be a great father and, and a husband and all those things. So, the whole playing career thing is great, man. And we've actually been really closely watching you for the last years. I don't know if Christian's brought this up to you much, but so the other side of this office, on the other side of One Team Media here, is the Pavement Group. And
You're killing them this year. They're donating $500 for every field goal, and they're donating $100 for every extra point. This guy, Brian, is about to come over. The owner, he's about to shake you down for 20 racks right now.
That's awesome.
It's been crazy, dude. Like when me and Trey started working here about right when that partnership became a thing last year, and we do the marketing and some of the advertising for the company, and so we've been behind creating the logo for Paving the Way, and we were all hyped up when we saw it on the those were really cool moments for us. So then to have a relationship with Christian, who's part of that unit, and obviously been watching you, and it's been really fun to watch, man. You're a special player, and it's an honor to be a part of what we're doing and giving back to the city. But dude, you've given us a run for our money, so kudos to you.
We're almost broke, but appreciate you.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
If you see Brian lurking around a corner,
Get out of here.
Run, just run. You know what I mean? That's all right. But you mentioned before we came in here, and I have this bad trait of where I ask questions before we get inside the studio. But you were talking about your cleats, and some people don't understand why you took your cleats off in the first place, and I didn't know until you told me. So can you tell us a little bit about what that is and why you had your cleats off?
So when I was back in high school, I wore a size 10.5 shoe. And to reference it, now I wear a size 9 tennis shoe. And I've just been stuffing my feet in smaller and smaller cleats to where my feet are shrinking. And so, like, to make sure I don't hit
Crazy.
enough grass or turf, which, you know, causes your toe to come up and all that stuff, I want as small of a cleat as possible. So I wear a studded cleat on the left that's an 8.5, and then like a soccer style cleat on the right with minimal like studs in the bottom just to
Did
like
you say
get through.
8.5?
8.5 left, 8 right. So like
Wait,
over
and
the
you wear
last
what
10
size?
9.
10 years, they've just been shrinking.
He wore 10 originally.
That's what I
10
thought he
originally.
sold.
Yeah,
10
10
and a half in
originally.
high school.
Now 9.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
stuffing them in these
You know, like
small
the
ass cleats.
foot bonding thing.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm honest to God, I can't even lie to you. I'm shocked right now.
Yeah.
I was today
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
old when I figured
Is
out.
that do all kickers do this?
I mean, we
A
all wear
lot?
smaller cleats because, I mean, you want as minimal restriction as possible. So if you're out there and you just duff the grass before you hit the ball,
done.
that ball's not going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I can't kick.
I was just thinking.
Because I got the wrong cleats
Yeah,
on.
that's the only reason.
We went. We had
Yeah.
we had 5 we had a little friendly wager that I could make. I said that I can make. You know, what did I say? 3 of 5 PATs.
Yeah.
From the off the sticks, so it's totally different off the sticks, obviously. But I made 3. They were ugly as hell.
They went in.
But you made
But they
say on
went.
the
One
sheet,
hit
yeah.
the post. One hit the crossbar. Dove in there.
Fucking
I hit that
amazing.
shit though with the
3
bad
points
cleats
is
on.
3 points.
3 points. is 3
$500
points.
is $500.
Man.
From the pavement. Thank you, Brian. I want to talk about one of the most important things, your golf game. Talk about the first year I got you back into golf. What was our record? I think it was 4-4 that year, and it's drastically changed since. How have you gotten so good at golf? What the hell are you doing in the off season?
What are you
I
doing?
got out of golf
Please
for a
tell me.
long time.
He
too.
wasn't golfing, so I got his ass the first like, well, it was even, but I ain't getting him anymore. Fuck.
Yeah, I golfed like early in my career. I put them up for like 5 years or so because I just got tired of getting to the point where you're good and then putting them up for the season. So I'm like, I'm just done messing with it. Golf is an expensive sport for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And then, yeah, Christian came and we just started golfing again. And ever since then, it's just competition. I
I feel
mean,
like I feel like
kinda.
a lot of people picked up golf that year too, right? This is like around COVID year. Like,
oh,
people
COVID
really
ruined
started.
golf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I live in Atlanta, and every country club in Atlanta is 2 to 5 year wait list because of
Man.
COVID.
right.
Everyone.
Nothing
can't
else
get
to
in.
do but go out to the lake and play golf.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I feel like a lot of specialists relate to golf, and you can attest to this. But like golfing, he already said it. It's a lot like kicking. I compare it to long snapping. Presley, Corliss doesn't golf, but and neither does Cam. But Presley, he'd compare it to golf. Like we'd all compare it to golf, and I feel like a lot of specialists do because it's such like a fine details of.
Yeah. It's a precision sport.
Yeah, it's a precision sport, and like if the face of the ball hits it the wrong way or his foot hits it the wrong way, it's gone.
It's crazy because I texted Christian. I was like, "Is he good at golf?"
Yeah.
Like I just had to know because this on your
Right now,
swing.
absolutely not. By summer, decent.
This dude's like a 4 handicap, and he says he's like decent at golf.
That's crazy.
We're trying to break.
Right now would not be a 4 handicap though.
Yeah, but you're still shooting in the high 70s in the off season or low 80s, and that's a shit round. Quit your crying.
he just smirked.
Quit your crying. I'm shooting like 104, and I'm pumped about that bogey I had on 18 because it was a good finish. You know?
Yeah.
But
You
seriously,
feel good about that.
Yeah. I'm happy about like a bogey that you fight to get a bogey and you're happy for. He's pissed that he had to putt for par.
He also puts no effort into it.
Yeah, I do.
He talked about
Yeah.
we had another friendly wager that he would reduce his handicap by like 5 or 6 strokes.
That was a dumb fucking bet.
He lives next door to On Par and won't ever go in the off season.
Hey, bro.
So is that my fault that in the off season I only golf and he doesn't golf?
What are you doing in the off season?
That's so funny.
It's hard to get good at golf because I've been
No,
golfing.
it's not. Put effort into it.
I've been golfing for
You wanna
such
get
a long
Brian
time.
in here?
Yeah, come on in, Brian.
yeah.
We got
Get Brian in here.
We got a
I
little.
like the hoodie.
Yeah, look at that. We were
Yeah.
just talking about
Brian. Come on over here.
Come on over there. Get in the camera. I want to show the guy. I want to put a face to the guy that's
Scoot over here and give you
we're
my mic,
killing for
'cause
20
I think-
racks.
Yeah. I think we should.
25
24 and counting.
and counting.
24 and counting.
I think you should be blaming the offense, not me.
Dude, I
they-
had told him before. I said, let's get Russ in here. Ross and Justin Fields, right here and right here. We need to have a discussion.
Why?
he's
Because we're
paying
killing
that
you.
money.
I told him, I said, if you see Brian in here, get away because he's going to shake you down for 20 grand.
Dude, I get shit talked by my own dad. He's like, dude, 6 field goals in a game. This is costing you a fortune.
He's not lying though.
That's how it
You're
goes.
not lying. Vinny already talked about the sponsorship, and give me your honest opinion when you see us, 6 field goal game, 6 field goal game, 5 field goal game. What was going through your mind?
Dude, it's first of all, it's for charity.
Yes, so it's a good cause.
You never mind it. The only thing I always say in the stands, I'm like, we just got to win. If we're putting up 3 racks at a game and we lose, I'm gonna be salty.
I agree. You have to win.
That's true.
If we put up $3,000 for one game and lose,
Oh, you say.
yeah, it's not a good feeling. But what hasn't happened yet?
Yeah, you're right. The 6 field goal games we win, 5 field goal game we won.
I feel like that's more of a testament to the defense, holding people to
Yeah.
under 6 field goals,
Yeah.
scoring.
Yeah, I do have a challenge for you though for next
Uh-oh.
year because we're gonna do this again.
Run it.
I've run this past you, I think.
Yeah.
So I want to say, if you miss, we'll double it. That's how confident we are. You just got to match it.
Oh.
Don't remind me, but deal. But deal. Don't remind me till after the year.
Oh, it's like, it never happens.
I like it.
I like it.
Let's everybody knock.
Let's knock everywhere.
Everybody knock.
Is there any wood in here?
No, I think it's awesome, dude. I mean, it's a cool conversation, and we joke around on social media, but it's, nobody better. If it wasn't for you, dude, the Hayward House would be getting half the money.
Yeah, Cam needs a thank you.
No doubt about
Is he
it.
doing it too?
The money's going towards the Hayward House. So all towards Brian's pocket, your leg, Cam's charity.
It goes through his legs to your foot in Cam's pocket.
Out of your pocket to Cam's pocket.
That's it.
That's great. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Bryce. Surprise guest. I don't want to keep you too long, Boz. I appreciate all you boys for being in here. This wraps up season 1, episode 25.
26, I think.
26. I should probably start checking this shit
Yeah.
before I come in
know
here
that.
because I do this every
We're just in
episode.
the grind. We're just in the grind.
It's my favorite part. Like, share, subscribe. Still shy on the subscribe button. Like, what are we going? We're getting the listeners. Hit the subscribe button. It don't hurt.
Don't hurt.
Just tap it. A little thumb tap. It's like you're on Tinder. Tap. That's how they all
Don't
do.
look at me. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Episode 25.
25. Thank you, Brian. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for coming in. Boss. Bang!